Hey everybody, it's Carm here, coming on a absolutely gorgeous Saturday afternoon. First time back in the yard for a video, and as ever it needs a lot of work, but after a long winter, but and it's not quite as lush as it probably was the last time I filmed, I guess in October, but it'll get there soon. And yeah, great day to do anything, so I felt like doing a little video. Somewhat continuing the ECM thread, which I think I did maybe 2 out of the last 3 videos, and I know Gary will appreciate this. My pal out in New Jersey, Cosmic Pickle. This time I'm going to focus on the 80s of ECM, and specifically on CD. I have about 10 here. It seemed like in the 80s, the ECM did a lot of sort of offbeat records. You know, it kind of kept with the aesthetic in some ways, but sometimes the production was a little different, or some of the styles, they explored different styles, different, just different modes of expression, different genres, and yeah, I find it really interesting. So I've been kind of exploring that a little bit lately. So I'll start right in here. I have a few of the new series, the ECM new series, the classical branch of the label. This first one, Walter Fondrick, viola. It sounds to be solo improvised viola, or if it is composed, it's done very much almost similar to like 12-tone music, kind of dissonant at times. This piece, the second piece, 24 minutes long, is an incredible kind of a spiraling dervish sound to it, very minimalist, and is extraordinary technique. I mean, as far as I know, this is recorded in real time without overdubs, but or at least that piece was, and makes it sound as if there's 2 or 3 instruments being played at once. Just really extraordinary. Yeah, amazing music overall. And I don't know how well known he is, but yeah, just again, great technique. And if you like solo music, solo instrumental music, just the unaccompanied acoustic musician, this is very much recommended. If you like, modern classical or free improvisation, I mean, it would fit the bill on both of those. This one probably not so unusual for the label. Chick Corea, Steve Kojala, Voyage. A beautiful duo for piano and flute. Steve Kojala here. I think he played in his band. He was playing other wind instruments like saxophone, but the chick really liked his flute playing and wanted to do a duet. And I think most of the compositions are by Korea. It has kind of a chamber classical feel to it, very structured. The improvisation is very kind of measured, and it just has a real kind of a sense of drama to it, I find. Disc there. Yeah, it's from 1985. Recorded in '84, came out in '85. But, yeah, very nice representation of both of them. I really like Kujala's playing. His flute playing is very distinctive. And of course, we all know Chick and what he's done. I think this might have been his last thing for ECM before he moved on. But yeah, very nice stuff, and I don't think it's one of his more well-known albums on the label. This next one's an incredible album, which I think I showed this in my classical video last summer. Cello Organics. Thomas Dominga on cello, and Hans Reber on pipe organ. And that's what it is, just a duet for organ and cello. At times it's ambiguous as to who's playing what, almost. I mean, the timbres get so close, and kind of similar to the Fondrick. The cello technique of Dominga is really extraordinary. This is from 1980, recorded in 1980, came out in '81. If you like Keith Jarrett's experiments with the organ, Hymns and Spheres and Moth in the Flame, I think it is, you'd like this. And yeah, it apparently seems to be improvised. Yeah, music by both of them, so it appears to be fairly improvised. This is another one on the new series, so it's got that kind of chamber feel to it also. But yeah, very dark, very nocturnal music. I'm thinking of Gary again. You know, we talk about music being fitting at certain times of the day, but this would definitely be a nocturnal piece. Yeah, very nice, and not one of the more well-known ones. Another one here, kind of shifting gears. Rabi Abu Khalil Nafas. He's an oud player, which is like a Middle Eastern lute. I believe it's from Tunisia. Glenn Velez plays on this on frame drums. A really nice blend of Near Eastern, I guess you could say like Middle Eastern chamber music in a sense. I really like the cover here. We have the negative of it on the inside from 1988. One I haven't listened to in quite a while, but it really stands out for me is Glenn Velez is playing on frame drums. He opens and closes the piece with, or opens and closes the album with solo frame drums. But yeah, just nice, for the most part, traditional Middle Eastern music, which they've done. ECM has done more of this in recent years, but I think at the time they were just getting into it, kind of branching off into other parts of the world outside of Europe and America. So yeah, very nice. See, about halfway through here. It's one of my all-time favorites here. David Torn, Cloud About Mercury. So you got Tony Levin on Chapman Stick, Mark Isham, another one Gary profiled, and Bill Bruford on drums, electric and acoustic drums. Yeah, great stuff. I mean, it's from 1986, released in '87. Yeah, kind of a jazz rock fusion, very atmospheric jazz rock fusion, I guess I would call it. You know, again, you don't associate, a little more raw than you would associate with ECM. A little, again, more on the rock and roll side, but also, for lack of a better, I'd use the word abstract, but also some avant-garde tendencies. Just really nice, kind of both impressionistic and expressionistic, and very electronic based. Seems just about everyone plays either synthesizer or some kind of processing, but just a very fun listen and a lot of interesting colors. I have this one on vinyl too. It's a long time favorite. Another one by Torn, which until I saw this I never knew about it. Best Laid Plans, David Torn and Jeffrey Gordon. It's a duet for guitars and percussion. Now this album is very raw, very even noisy at times. It's just guitar and drums kind of going at it. It's from 1985. It was recorded in '84. But yeah, this is definitely not. Also, you see the stereo here on a lot of the early ones, the early CDs. It's a little stereo tab on there. But yeah, this is probably about as raw as you would hear from ECM. I always associate this album with summer, especially like a really hot, humid day. For some reason, it's really good in the car on a hot, humid day where it just, it's kind of getting to you and everything, and the music seems to fit. Just has that feel to it. A really interesting cover too. There's two artists on the back. David Torrance on right there. But yeah, if you want something a little more raw and a little, not real melodic. I mean, there's hints of melody and rhythm, but it's it's definitely more of a, just kind of going at it. If I showed the M&M label recently. It could almost fit on there at times. The more improvisatory thing. But, yeah, a little rougher around the edges than you'd normally hear on the label. That's another unusual one on another one on the new series. Tamia and Pierre Favre. Can't quite pronounce the title there, but it's a duet between Tamia, who's a singer, and Pierre Favre on percussion. Great Swiss percussionist. I really like this cover. So take it out. This one's from 1987. Another one, a little more on the. I wish I could find a better word. Think of a better word for abstract, but it's kind of along that line. This is one actually I haven't listened to in a while, but it sounds to be more improvised too. They're kind of exploring different tonalities between his various percussive instruments and her voice, with really extraordinary range. But this is one I need to revisit to give a better sort of synopsis of. But no, just a fascinating, just the fact that it's a singer and a drummer. You know, you don't really put those together. But again, another unusual thing that the label was doing at the time. See a few more here. I know Gary knows this one. Mark Isham, Art Landy, We Begin. That's another one I also have on vinyl, and it's an old favorite. I think Gary was pointing out it seems more like a Art Landy album. I think it starts off sounding more, maybe the first couple are more like Mark Isham, and then gets into more Art Landy. Yeah, they both play synthesizers. Mark Isham on trumpet, of course, and Art Landy on piano, and both play percussion. This is from 1987. Yeah, very kind of atmospheric, at times brooding, but also has a kind of that kind of cinematic quality, which of course you'd expect with Isham. I always like this cover. There's a local park that I go walking in sometimes, which has like a softball field, which every time I walk by it and the sun's coming in a certain way, it just reminds me of this picture. But yeah, this is a really nice one. Starts off with some really heavy kind of drum machines from that time, which I really kind of like that. I mean, some would say that it detracts from the music or the rest of it, but I think it works pretty well here. But yeah, more nice stuff, and another somewhat unusual one. Here's Norma Winstone, Summer Come Home. Yeah, Gary, I do have this one. I wasn't sure before. Yeah, Norma Winstone, the great vocalist. Again, Gary did an Azimuth video, really nice. Love that group too. And this is very similar. John Taylor from the group also on piano here, and Tony Coe on clarinet and tenor sax. She does a mixture of, actually it's mostly standards here. Also a Ralph Towner piece, which she sets lyrics to. See, from 1986. But yeah, very nice stuff. And there she is there. But yeah, if you like Azimuth, you definitely go for this. And I don't even mind that there's lyrics. I mean, I tend to, not care for the words a whole lot, but it's just fine here. Very atmospheric, and very much in that Azimuth vein. And finally here, another all-time favorite artist, Steve Tibbetts, YR. Recorded in 1980 and reissued. It was recorded on a different label and then reissued on ECM in 1988. And yeah, if you know Steve Tibbetts' music, there's a lot of guitars, electric and acoustic, and percussion. A mixture of rock, folk, world, ethnic music. You could hear Far Eastern. Very distinctive sound on guitar. I think especially like the 12-string. He has a certain phrasing. This kind of runs the gamut of acoustic, electric. He went tried a lot of different things over the years, but you could hear a lot of these early synthesis of his styles on here. But yeah, this would be a good place to start with his music. If he has another one, I think, Northern Song, which is probably a little quieter, but this has just a pretty wide dynamic range. But yeah, this is kind of unusual for the label in that there's some more raw aspects to it that you don't think of when you think of ECM. So yeah, I think that's all I got there. Yeah, I just wanted to come on real quick and show some of these. I'll definitely have more from the label to show, and been inspired also by by Gary again. He's stuff he's showing, both ECM and just did a Klaus Schulze video, which is kind of getting me looking back in my own collection for revisiting and for even checking out some of the more recent stuff. So yeah, I think I'll do it for now. I hope you're all well, and hope spring is finally sprung wherever you're at. It seems to have here finally. And well, until next time, peace, love, and joy.